Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. And today we're going to be talking all about the Big Bear, Big Bear AI, ticker symbol being BBAI. And well, the Big Bear got pretty mauled by the bears in the market this last week as we were sitting at a 52-week high for Big Bear that was right at $10.36 when we did see quite the sell-off in Big Bear. And now we are sitting at $5.65. And so the stock itself has almost retraced 50% from that 52-week high. And this is just a bigger part of the overall trend that we are seeing in the markets, as most plays did finish red at the tail end of last week and are red at the beginning of this week. And so for the last week, 75% of all major stocks and indexes have gone down. And this is just coming a lot off of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that is around the consumer confidence index that came out and showed that individuals and consumers are not happy with what we're seeing in the economy right now. So the price of inflation has been rising, eggflation, the price of eggs has been going crazy. And then also the Trump tariffs are back onto the table, which we know did spook the markets a couple weeks ago and are now spooking the markets again. And so today I'm going to be doing my technical and fundamental analysis of BigBearAi, as well as talk about some of the news that did send this stock down recently. But before I do that, I want to say, as always, that this is not financial advice, and I always recommend that you do your own due diligence before making any financial decisions. So let's hop into BigBearAi, and let's first talk about the short-term analysis on BigBearAi. And so when we look at the short-term in BBAI, we could see that we started to gain a bigger trend upwards. And so right as the stock hit around $2, it started to trade in this upwards trend. We would see it go up, tap this resistance level here, go right back down to support, and then tap that resistance level again, but overall in a bigger trend. And so the old resistance levels would become the new support levels for BigBearAI. And then all of a sudden, Big Bear gained that big Department of Defense contract, which sent this stock into a hyper bullish territory. And since that level, we have seen some sell-off in BigBearAI, and we have trailed back down. But now what is positive for BigBearAI is if we don't see a much bigger sell-off, if we don't trail much below, I'd say around $4.40, this trend should continue. So despite Big Bear getting a little overbought there for a second, we are just returning back to the trend that we were seeing in the Big Bear. And now when we look at Big Bear on a longer chart analysis, what's really positive with Big Bear is the 52-week high that it did tap had us reach all the way back to the levels that we saw last on May 20th of 2022. And so BigBearAI has been in a little bit of a bearish market itself these last couple years. The all-time high for Big Bear was around $12.50, but that was only for a quick moment of time. And since then, the stock did trail down. But what's really positive for BigBearAI is that we did tap this resistance level, marking that this is the first time this resistance has been tapped in the last 3 years. And then where we're sitting at currently puts us at this major support level right here for BigBearAI. So if you were watching my first videos of BigBearAI when it started to gain the momentum, I was saying that when it hit $5, that this was a pretty major resistance level for BigBearAI, which now sits at its support. So hopefully we do see Big Bear continue to trade upwards. And I do believe that even though we have seen some retracement, what we are still seeing in Big Bear is very positive. And so if you don't know what sparked the mass sell-off in BigBearAI, it was that they tumbled on the news that the Trump administration is going to be looking to make some budget cuts with the Department of Defense. And not just the Department of Defense, but the overall macroeconomic trends that we have seen where all AI plays have been decently slashed. And that is just because of, again, all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt we've seen when it comes to the consumer report. And then also Walmart did have guidance for lower than expected sales growth going forward. But for me, I am still hyper bullish on the Big Bear. And the reason why is because I still believe that there is a lot of intrinsic value in BigBearAI. And so first, I want to apologize for anybody that watched one of my videos when Big Bear was up to $8, $9. I said that I did not see a lot more retracement from this stock. I didn't think that it would dip much below $7. Well, I was wrong there, and I do apologize. I got a little bit excited, and Big Bear was gaining a lot of hype and momentum until the markets, until the Department of Government Efficiency efficiency looked into the Department of Defense and decided that they're going to be doing budget cuts going forward. And so the Department of Government Efficiency has been looking for a bunch of waste, fraud, and abuse all across the government. And of course, they just had to hit this sector, which hurts our beloved BigBearAi. But what I encourage investors to remember is that what Doge is doing is they're looking again at the waste, fraud, and abuse. It doesn't mean that there is not still money to spend. And with BigBearAi being one of the front runners, with their CEO having ties back to Trump, I still see them gaining more Department of Defense contracts or other government contracts in the future. And the next big date that we need to look for when it comes to BigBearAi is going to be on March 6th when they have their next earnings report. We know with BigBearAi, historically, they haven't always done the best when it comes to earnings. They had a lot of misses, but what is positive is that in Q2 and Q3 of 2024, they actually did meet those expectations. And so what I'm hoping for Q4 is I'm hoping that they once again meet those expectations or even exceed those expectations. And what I'm looking at even more for BigBearAi is their guidance going into the future. And so again, I believe with this stock, there's a lot of intrinsic value and a lot has been happening with this company in the last year. And so there is going to be a lot happening in the future. And if this guidance shows that we should start to see more of a positive trend for BigBearAi going into the future, if the guidance is good, if they expect revenues to increase, all that, we could really see this stock. We should see this stock flip from the negative price momentum and only continue the further bullish trend that we have been seeing with BigBearAi. And remember, it's not just retail investors that are in BigBearAi, but we also did see all those acquisitions within the company when Kevin did become the new CEO. And not just retail money, not just insider money, but also the biggest money also is invested as well. So at the tail end of 2024, we saw a lot of massive institutions invest into BBAI. We saw BlackRock, Vanguard, Morgan Stanley, and many others. And so right now, BigBearAi does look pretty terrifying, and the overall markets look pretty terrifying. I know this because when we look at the fear and greed index, we are at the extreme fear levels right now. So overall, there's a lot of panic in the markets. A lot of people are freaking out, wondering, is this the end? Is this the crash? Should I pull out all my money? But myself, and remember, I am a hyper bull. I recommend either staying in the market, not touching it, or even adding to your plays. And so admittingly so, I did not expect BigBearAi to drop to the levels it has, but I consider this to be a blessing. Anything under $10 for BigBearAi is a blessing in my books, and I added to my position today. I see BigBearAi bucking this trend, and I think the overall market is going to buck this trend before we know it. Again, there's just been a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the news, and when there is a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the bears tend to be louder than the bulls. But let's remember that when things flip and when everything is bullish and green, the bulls tend to be louder than the bears. And so it's just that pendulum flipping back and forth. But myself, I am always hyper bullish on the market, and I am bullish on the big bear, both in the short term and on the long term. But I would love to hear what everyone else has to say about BigBearAi or just the overall market. So please drop a comment in the section below on what you think about these two subjects. Please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.